Ubisoft's Tom Clancy's HAWX is a slightly above average arcade flight game that helped to fill the void between Ace Combat releases. Now, at first glance, HAWX might seem pretty similar to Ace Combat in a sort of literally the exact same game kind of way, but there are some notable differences. Like in Ace Combat, the enemies are green squares, but in HAWX, they're yellow diamonds. That's it. That's the only difference. Now, I'm not the biggest Ace Combat fan. I mean, they're okay, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to play every vaguely Ace Combat related game. Hey everybody, welcome back to my Let's Play of Raiders for Your Fourth. I consider myself to be pretty good at these types of games, but I gotta say that HAWX is a pretty difficult game to play. I don't mean that it's hard, I mean I literally had difficulty playing it. So first, I went on Steam to buy the game and it wasn't there. And I was like, alright, it's a Ubisoft game, so it's probably on Uplay, but it's not there either. Turns out the only way to get HAWX on PC these days is through Amazon. Did you know that Amazon has their own game downloader thingy? Yeah, neither did I. My favorite feature is how slow it is. So I finally have the game downloaded and start to play, but then it starts crashing after every single mission. So I do some Googling and find out I have to run it in compatibility mode for Windows 7, fair enough, it's an older game. And after I did that, it ran fine, aside from one instance of blue screening my computer. So after all that trouble, was it worth it? I guess. HAWX is basically just a hollow shell of Ace Combat. It's got the gameplay nailed down. If you enjoy playing Ace Combat, you'll enjoy this, but it has no real personality and it's pretty forgettable. But as I said, they did get the gameplay right. Flying around and blowing stuff up is as fun as ever, and if anything, HAWX is even more simplified than Ace Combat. All the planes handle pretty much identically, and even the A-10 can do ridiculously sharp turns with ease. There are a few additions to the formula, but they're not great. Whenever you're locked onto something, you can press a button to automatically generate a flight path that will get you a guaranteed clean shot on your target. It's still way better than Mr. Red's Circle over here, but it still feels kinda cheap. Fortunately, you only have to use it a few times throughout the campaign, and it's otherwise completely optional, so that's nice. There's also a mechanic called Off, where the idea is that you're turning off all your plane's limiters so you can do extreme maneuvers. It sounds cool, but what it actually does is zoom the camera out 50 miles away from your plane with a really weird angle, and it also messes with the controls for some reason. It is completely optional, but it's a pointless feature that adds nothing to the game, and whenever you try to use it, you just get a headache. Kinda like Uplay. So the gameplay is pretty solid, but the thing that makes HAWX seem so bland is the story. Now in the Tom Clancy universe, there's at least 27 plots to destroy America going on at any given time. So let's see who will be fighting today. Ah, PMC, that's one of the rarer ones. When the game starts, you and your squadron are hired by Artemis Global Security, and then briefed by the CEO who's so blatantly evil that you already know the game's whole plot before he's even done saying his first line.
We're glad that you and the other members of HAWX Squadron have decided to accept our offer of employment.
You assist the US military in Brazil for a little while, when suddenly, Artemis decides to switch sides and invade the United States. So, first of all, if you're a private military company, I would think that the US would be your biggest client thanks to all the freedom we're always dispensing. And then even if your random company somehow manages to conquer America, do you really think the rest of the world is going to be cool with that? It's only 2019, guys. We're not due to have corporations replace nation states for at least like 50 more years. Anyways, you're ordered to blow up an American fleet, and you're just like, no? And then you join the US Air Force. Artemis airdrops tanks into Washington, D.C., and then tries to go blow up Air Force One. I always love seeing how games from this era portray the president. It's always either a knockoff of Hillary Clinton or a guy with the most generic name possible. Artemis destroys a bunch of satellites, which throws the US forces into disarray, and wait a minute, is Ace Combat 7 ripping off HAWX? In a shocking twist, it's revealed that the bad guys have a nuke. Oh my god, who could have seen that one coming? There's a bunch of long missions that kind of overstay their welcome a bit, and then finally you find out the nuke is in Las Vegas. And we all know the best way to disarm a nuke in a video game is to shoot it, so you do that and the day is saved. The only thing left is an epilogue where you slowly fly towards the evil CEO's private mansion while a news report about how evil he is plays over the radio. It's no epic superweapon fight, but it's pretty great listening to how much of a scumbag this guy is for 5 minutes before finally putting a missile through his house.
Lock missile away. Direct hit on the target.
So that's HAWX. Should you play this game? Well, if you like Ace Combat, then you can't really go wrong with 20 new missions for $10, but also the game might break your computer, so I'm just gonna suggest you go play Ace Combat 7 again instead. So on a scale of Homefront to Modern Warfare 2, HAWX gets Medal of Honor Warfighter.